Hey everybody, welcome back to another of Vendal's weekly arcade quest tutorials. So this week, we're going to be doing Animus Redacted Live, but before we get into it, I want to apologize a little bit about how late this video came out. Let you all know that they will for sure be coming out on Thursday in the evening in the future, from here on out for a good while. I was traveling again over the course of this last weekend, and therefore it was just hard to get time and internet connection and etc. to actually set up the PS4 and give it a shot. But anyways, so here we are. This quest is really tough, so I want you to go in expecting that, knowing that this is going to be a rough ride. But let's talk a little bit about character choice and what you can choose to do to make it a little bit easier. There was a person who requested I try to play as the Kensei. I still don't have the Kensei leveled up enough, but I am working on it. But I actually think if you have the Kensei at rep 8, he's a good choice for this quest, and here's why. One of the hardest phases in this quest is focused. One of the easiest ways to clear it is by doing dodge attacks, or even better, dodge heavies, because you have the knockback on heavy modifier as you play the quest. And that quest is this first sequence, which is very, very difficult, so just be aware of that going in. You're going to struggle. Let's talk a little bit about just each of the people you're fighting. So I at first thought this one was going to be pretty easy because none of the enemies can parry and you're uninterruptible. I was very wrong, and there's two reasons for that. One, most of the enemies have a damage buff for some reason in some way. Two, you have your damage down, so it takes forever to kill them. Even if you get all your hits safely off, they're generally going to get revenge before you kill them. Here's a quick reminder of how it's usually going to turn out. And then three, two of the characters have deflects, so them not having parries, being level 3 AIs, isn't even that much of a bad thing for them because they're just going to use the deflects anyways. So I'm going to take you on a tour of the map. There's a lot going on in this map, like these stun traps at the very beginning. You can use these, it's pretty easy to lure one of the enemies into these, but you're not going to get off more than a single hit, and so they're really not that valuable. Additionally, if you use them on the Zhang Jun, he's going to just do his Sifu stance and be back to normal in moments. The Shaolin down there is in that hut. He's, in my opinion, the toughest because he has the highest damage buff as well as the deflect. Weave your way through these guys just for kicks. Don't go back here when you're actually playing the quest. There's no reason to. This is the Nuxia's little area. It's pretty hard to try to get any of them into those traps. And I wouldn't recommend trying to do so mid-combat. You get back here, and this is back where we started. You can see this just from where we started. But honestly, the only part of this area that you need to know is the spike pit. So the general strategy for this is therefore just bring everybody to the spike pit, which is why having a heavy attack that comes out fast or comes out of a dodge is so useful. Most of these guys will try to do a sprint attack on you. Your uninterruptible heavy armor, hyper armor will allow you to swing out that heavy, knock them back, knock them into the spikes, and then you'll be done. You'll see that I do that with all three of them here. Now note, you can't always guarantee that they're going to use their dodgeable sprint attack, but most of the time, if you stay decently close to them before slowing down, they will open with it, and that's what gives you the opener to just knock them in. Occasionally the Shaolin will block one hit right there at the beginning, but you can usually work it out. And again, just go bait out the Nuxia. She's faster than you, so try to keep your distance, especially if you're playing a slower character. Bring her back here, expect that dodge attack. Even if she hits you, you'll get her. Even if she goes for the trap at that point, you'll get her because your strike will land first. And that really, that does it for you. The next sequence is sequence 2, and this one's not as bad as some of the others in my opinion, but it's still going to be difficult if you struggle in matchups against the Conqueror, who is very strong, given. The Conqueror in this case knocks backs on heavies, knocks down on heavies, which is a big problem, and has bonus hit points. For this reason, you can play the fight fairly. It's very possible to do this one fairly where you don't throw any of them into the lava, but I recommend going for the lava. But always remember, it can happen to you too. But anyways, so the Conqueror is the first person I target. We do again have heal on minion kill in this one, which is extremely useful. Use it. Yeah, just use it. It's good. And find a way to just handle this Conqueror. It's your choice whether you want to try to go at it fairly. The Lawbringer will give you some time before you have to face him, but he won't wait out forever. So I really like to just try to kick her into the lava. It saves a lot of time. Dealing with level 3 conquerors has always been super irritating to me, just because of how their kit works. A little bit of an exploration about the area. If you want to do fair fights, this is the best place to fight, because you still have that little fire pit in the middle. However, be aware of these archers up here, because they will shoot you if you're standing decently close to them. Also, this little trap here is hard to use against the Lawbringer, because he can just dash through it. I don't know why he can do that, but you know. But you can also use it to your advantage. Certainly I did a couple times. But you get to deal with this Lawbringer, and his big thing is if you hit him and he blocks, he's going to drain a crap ton of your stamina. So you want to make sure that your hits are kind of guaranteed, or you're always going to be throwing yourself into OOS. But it's really not that hard to avoid. The Lawbringer is not in the strongest state right now, and actually as far as level 3 AIs go, he's one of the easiest to deal with, in my opinion. And you do still have the advantage of, if you need it, killing minions to heal up. And so you'll see after he gets this little drop on me that's exactly what I do. Throw him to the side and go get some heals when I get a little scare there because he parries me. And then we get back into it to finish him off. I mean, it's really easy to get yourself back up to full health, but you know, do whatever you feel confident with. And you'll make your way through. This one is maybe the easiest phase, if not for the annoying conqueror at the beginning. So next up, we have Chapter 3, Sequence 3. So this one is a little bit interesting. Just because of the mechanics of the map, you kind of just have to accept it makes it hard to fight fair, but this fight's actually really, really fun, just because it can end up a little bit goofy. You can even see some weird dead moments that give you ideas for new yoga poses. So first off, all three of them respond if you don't kill them. It's a little slower respawn than some of the other ones, so you do have some time to finish off the other enemies. But, you know, this is one of those fights where there is some fun cheese methods. You can do it fairly. It is very, very possible. I cleared it fairly, but I prefer to try to use these little spots down here because it results in some pretty funny deaths for you or your opponents as they go flying off the edge. All over the map, there's going to be a catapult with a kind of slow respawn timer in between, but as usual, AIs don't really interact well with the catapult. The Warden, for some reason, reacts a little bit better. So just be aware of that. If you try to capitalize on him getting hit by the catapult, he will occasionally block and parry and turn it against you. But the Raider and the... I said Warden, right? Just making sure that was clear. But the Raider and the Kensei both react just as poorly to the catapult as regular AIs do. And so you can use that to your advantage, kind of have fun of using it. In fact, trying to fight fair because of how the catapult works in this one is pretty hard to do. Additionally, you do have a small hit point regen. It's really, really minimal, but if you're running away, you can make use of it. And, well, eventually the catapults will just give the win to you. No questions asked. Alright, now we're in phase 72. Wait. Yeah, they're out of order. You go straight from sequence 1, 2, 3, and then to 72. This might be a reference to something. I'm not really sure. But anyways, we're fighting Ezio here. So good luck against him. He has the moveset of a Centurion. His uninterruptibility and increased health pool do cause a little bit of an issue. He also deals extra damage, so he's going to take you out very fast if you're not careful. If you want to fight unfairly, there is an edge you can use. But if you're fighting pseudo-fairly, the best way to begin this fight is like I did here, where you get him into that bear trap. Because he's uninterruptible, hitting him doesn't knock him out of the bear trap, and therefore you can actually get a couple swings in. After he chases after you when you knock him down or whatever else, come out here to this attack boost. When you get the attack boost, he will always be using his extremely predictable Centurion's dash forward out of lock attack, which you can counter in a variety of ways depending on your character, or just parry, and finish him off a little bit and you'll get the kill. Do be aware, because of his uninterruptible, that capitalizing on parries is a little bit risky, but that's really about all there is to it. So that ends this week's weekly quest. This one was highly difficult, so if anyone wants me to touch on anything a little bit more or has any further questions, just ask me. As a quick recap, Phase 1 is definitely the hardest, and I really recommend just accepting the fact that you're going to have a rough time and trying to use the spike wall method, because if you try to get through that one fairly, you're going to struggle for a long time. I spent probably like 55 minutes on it my first time before I started trying to go for just the spike wall tactic, and I never got it clear. I never did. I had to use the spike wall tactic to get through. Phase 2, you don't have to use the lava, as said, but deal with the Conqueror first. Phase 3, just use the catapults and you'll be fine. And then Phase 4, if you're having a hard time for any reasons against Ezio, just dump him off that edge. It's fairly easy to find a way to counter him and drop him onto the ledge. That's really about it. But that being said, I do kind of make this one sound, like I said, a little bit easier than it is. Almost all of these quests are decently difficult to actually make your way through. So feel proud of yourself if you make it through this one, because this one's tough. I struggled a lot with this one, which is part of why it took so long for me to get this video out. But anyways, I'm grateful for those of you that have been following my videos. I'm sorry that they were a little bit lax over the Christmas season, but they will be back on a very weekly basis, and I will try to get them promptly out every Thursday night from here on out. I'm looking forward to next week and to all the new changes that are going to be coming, especially to the Shigoki rework personally. I will continue to work on getting other characters repped up so that I can show you guys some other characters running these videos. And always remember, modifiers modify your playstyle. Vendel out.